Hello, everybody. Let's say thank you very much once more for inviting me. It's a really kind of a big honor for me to have opportunity to talk. As you have mentioned, I have a very long history of relation with Myanmar, with Burma. I have visited Burma for the first time in 1998. When during the really harsh dictatorship at that time, and I was basically secretly meeting some people and making a film about political prisoners in Myanmar, and that film was then later broadcasted in Czech Republic and some other places. Let's say, and it was basically the telling stories of the generations and the generations of the young people in Myanmar who raised against the military dictatorship and has finished in the jails. So basically, since the 98, I was visiting the country, I was working with the people in the country, and then between 2011 and 2016, I was living in country and running the courses for the former political prisoners, for the ethnic activists. There is probably 1,000 people who has gone through my courses. So for me, let's say these people are like my big family. Let's say they are not just kind of somebody whom I get to know. They are really my big family who connected me with the country. So when the coup happened, I couldn't do anything else but basically spend all of my time following what's going on there, then trying to encourage, trying to comment, trying to raise awareness, and trying to give advice to the, let's say, my former students and friends who are all in the actions now. What we have now is something what I will describe as a very unstable but very dynamic balance of the power in a struggle between the junta and the movement and the people. So we are really in a battle situation. We are in a war situation. The movement is using the non-violent tactics. Thanks God. Unfortunately, the junta is using the full violence, including the killing of the people. And we are in a situation of what I call this unstable balance, let's say. That means both sides have the strengths and have weaknesses. And this balance means that the people of Myanmar and the movement has shown really extraordinary strength in self-mobilizing to oppose the junta. On the other side, the junta has also its own strengths. Let's say they are very well entrenched. Let's say they have in this moment still loyalty of the repressive apparatus, and they have resources, financial and the others, and they are capable to endure the long battle. And that is what they are now trying to do, just to endure and through the systematic repression, try to break the resistance of the people. On the other side, let's say for already 6 weeks, the junta has not succeeded to consolidate the coup. So I think it's a very, very important to talk about attempted coup, but not about coup, the attempted coup that has not succeeded. For already 6 weeks, people are showing that they are not ready to give up, and they have shown extraordinary resilience to stand against the high level of the violence and high level of the atrocity, let's say. What will basically kind of decide the situation. The movement cannot topple down junta overnight. Unfortunately, let's say that's the reality, because as I said, let's say they have their strengths. On the other side, junta is not able to consolidate a normalized situation and to become de facto governing body of the country, because they can't defeat the people. Let's say. This unstable situation can in any moment, let's say, change in a junta falling down, but it can also be prolonged battle, let's say, which will last for months. What are the junta's strengths? Let's say junta strength is basically this fortress mentality. Let's say because the military within we know let's say has this kind of the mentality of the fortress sitting in a bunker and basically kind of having a high capacity to repress, to kill, to arrest. Let's say so far they have a loyalty within the army. This loyalty is, I don't think anymore any sort of the ideological unity, but it is more in this ingrained mentality, and that is also kind of the bonds which exist between the criminal mafias. And that is what Min Aung Hlaing is trying. It's trying to bring the army into the atrocities. It's trying to bring the armies in a crimes, because that will create the bond of everybody because they participated with him in a crimes. They still don't have loyalty of the police. I don't believe, let's say, that military has loyalty of the police, but they have the obedience of the police. Police is afraid to oppose the military, let's say. They have a cover of the China, Russia, and ASEAN. Unfortunately, let's say this is reality. That can change, but so far still China, Russia, and ASEAN are providing the cover for the junta, and they have the access to the financial resources. They have, let's say, access to the Myanmar National Bank financial reserves. They still have money from the jade. They still have money from the oil, the gas. So these are the only strengths of the junta, and that's not a little. Junta has also a lot of weaknesses. Let's say they basically lost any legitimacy. Nobody, not a single country, has recognized the junta as a governing body of the country, let's say. They have break all the laws. So they are basically now operating outside of the constitution, outside of the law. So they are basically illegal body, and everybody is recognizing them as an illegal body. So this loss of the legitimacy in a short run might not look as a big victory, but it's a huge victory of the movement. The second thing, junta is hated by the whole population. So they lost completely the consent of the people. From now on, they can rule the country only with a heavy and expensive repression, which is not easy to sustain. So losing the consent of the people, losing the obedience of the people is a big weakness of the junta. Civil disobedience of the professional groups of the civil service has seriously undermined the junta. That's their big weaknesses. They cannot govern the country. So they can terrorize the country, but they cannot govern the country. So again, in a longer run, you can't be the government. You can't if you cannot, let's say, administer the country. Huge weakness. Junta is not able anymore to run economy. And again, let's say they have now financial resources so they can go on for a few months. But in the long run, again, if they don't control economy, if they can't get the investment, if they can't get the technology, if they can't get the loans, let's say, they can't corrupt, they can't buy loyalty. So loss of the capacity to run economy is a huge weakness. Junta cannot normalize situation. As long as Min Aung Hlaing has not normalized the situation, he did not win. He was losing. But unfortunately, as I mentioned, he can still sit in a bunker. He can still sit in a tunnels below the Nepido and basically kind of try to terrorize the country. Junta has lost the peace process. Peace process has been the important source of the legitimacy for the military. Let's say a big argument for them. Let's say now with the ethnic players abandoning the junta, rejecting the junta, they basically lost, let's say, the peace process as a source of the legitimacy for them. So these are the huge weaknesses, but these weaknesses will kind of undermine the junta as time goes past. They will not undermine them overnight. Movement has a lot of strengths. Let's say really kind of the impressive strengths. Let's say the first one is, as I mentioned, incredible capacity to mobilize the people. Let's say. So The fact that the movement and the civic resistance became the nationwide is a huge strength. The fact, let's say, that all broad sectors of the society are participating in that is a huge strength. So we don't have only NLD grassroots members participating, only students, only 88, only young people participating in resistance. We really have the whole society, the villagers, the doctors, the teachers, the civil servants, let's say. So this is a huge strength of the movement. Extremely important that the ethnic stakeholders joined the united front against the junta, meaning the ethnic youth joined, the ethnic civil society joined, and then ethnic parties started to join, most of them, the most important one, and the ethnic armed groups carefully also started to reject and send the messages of no participation to junta and to engage with the movement. Extremely important. The togetherness of the movement is a very big strength, and this decentralized horizontal structure, but the common goal. So this is a huge strength. One more important thing, there has been a lot of discussions in Burma, but I think, let's say, that is a very important development and important strength, that in a moment when junta captured the legitimate institutions of the state, when they basically arrested the government, when they arrested the parliament and blocked the representative democracy, that what we have seen, emergence of the ad hoc created temporarily centers of the legitimacy, like the committee representing the parliament, like the different kind of the groups. And I think that was very important development, because in a moment when your legitimate representation was blocked, let's say, it's important to fill the space with another institutions which can claim, let's say, and really represent the people and the movement. The decentralized character of the movement, but the common goal is a very big strength. So these are the very important strengths. At the same time, let's say, each of these strengths also basically has a point of the weakness is in itself. So the weaknesses of the movement in this moment is basically, it's a very hard to operate and to organize under the heavy repression during the long period of the time. So this kind of the repression will keep on making a pressure on all these strengths of the movement and basically try to undermine that. So the weaknesses is basically, I said, togetherness is a strength, but at the same time, let's say, this togetherness is a very fragile, very vulnerable. Let's say. So in that sense, let's say, it was very important to keep on recreating and forging the togetherness again. Because if we will lose togetherness, if we will start to divide between ourselves, let's say, then repression will work. As long as we are together, repression cannot break the movement. Emerging institutions, as I mentioned, which are starting to emerge and are filling the void, are extremely important, but they are vulnerable. They can be easily arrested. If the police find them, and secret police find them, they will be arrested. So it's important, let's say, that they fill now the space, but at the same time, if they're arrested, there is a capacity immediately to put the new one at their place. Let's say, so that basically they can't kill the institutions and representation of the movement. It will not be easy to sustain the civic disobedience. People need the jobs. People need the income. Let's say. So it will not be easy to sustain this long battle, but it is possible, let's say, through this broad mobilization and through the mutual solidarity. So I think, let's say, we are now kind of in a position of kind of the constantly balancing and rebalancing, let's say, when we will come to the situation in which the strengths of the junta will start to crumble down, let's say, so that the balance can fully move on the side of the people.